Course platforms love to throw around impressive statistics. 70% completion rates, 10 times more engagement. But where do those numbers actually come from? And what do they mean? We're going to walk through how they're using BS data to sell you more expensive features. I'm Dr. Catrina Mitchum, and I've been designing and redesigning courses online since 2009. Okay, so we're going to start with a few course platform examples and what they say and kind of what it means. So my first example is Xperiencify, right? They have a claim that says, the research says 97% of students drop out of the courses that they buy. The problem is, what research? They never cite it. They never tell us where they get the statistic from. And the number gets repeated across their entire site with no source. If you've been watching the rest of this series, you know that everybody conflates the data, right? So this 97%, even if they did actually get it from a real place, might be coming from MOOCs, or they might be coming from corporate training, or whatever it happens to be. Without telling us where this number is coming from, it's suspicious, and it's very clearly being used to sell you things. So their pitch is that courses that run on their program have average student completion rates of 30 to 90%. They are trying to scare you with an inflated failure rate and then promise that gamification will save you, right? When you look at their website, that is the big thing that they say, that they outdo over specific competitors, which is fine. In reality, that 30 to 90% range is huge. That is a huge range of success, right? That's not data, that's a guess. And then they say average without really defining what that means. And so it's not that they're wrong, right? Like, students being successful in your course is important, but they're cherry picking data and seemingly making up numbers in order to drive that point home with scare tactics, right? Because they're trying to sell the gamification experience on Xperiencify. Example 2 is Thinkific. So on Thinkific's blog, they say that on average, only 5 to 15% of students complete a course. Now, they do have a link out to a source, but when I tried to click on it, it took me to a "this connection isn't safe" message. And so I did not follow that rabbit hole. But linking out is fine in blogs. They should still have a list at the bottom of where they're getting this information. My guess is that that number is similar to where I found this number elsewhere, which is it's really about MOOCs, right? And MOOCs are massive online courses that are free but run through universities. And so it's a completely different context, completely different scenario. So in that same blog, they are promoting tools that you have to pay for within their platform to boost completion rates. So their tactic here is admitting that the problem exists and then selling you their solutions, which are additional features and more add-ons and integrations and things like that. And the reality check is that course completion number is not coming from the course creation industry. Now, I am doing that study. If you would like to participate and you are creating courses, there's going to be a link in the description, because I'm going to collect real data from people who are creating courses in the online business space. Our third example is Kajabi's analytics dashboard. So the dashboard makes these promises, right? You'll be able to track student progress. It gives you video statistics and completion statistics, data insights that they say are huge for improving your digital product experience. I hate the word digital product in reference to courses because it should be an experience, not a product. So they give you the problem, right? Is that they give you these analytics tools without real context for what those numbers mean, right? So video statistics, if you look at how much of the video content students watch, that doesn't necessarily mean they're not getting anything out of it, right? It could mean that they got something out of it, or it could mean they watched it on 2 times speed. And so you're going to see a deflated amount of time that they've spent because they're watching it on 2 times speed. So the tactic that they're using here is to make you think you need sophisticated analytics in order to succeed. In reality, most solo creators or creators with a small team do not need enterprise level analytics. You need to be getting the real human interaction about where people are getting stuck. And that requires them giving you feedback, not just tracking clicks, tracking views, right? Those are in the same way that they're vanity metrics in social media, they are often vanity metrics in courses too. Okay, so I have other examples. I'm not going to go over them here because I've already talked about 3 that have patterns and themes, right? So they're using their statistics to tell you that there's a problem and that they have the solution to the problem, which also tends to be expensive and cost you money. That's a typical kind of sales tactic. So we're going to talk a little bit about that pattern, right? So the first thing that we see across all 3 examples is that they are cherry picking. What that means is they're going through and they're pulling out success stories. Things like the creator that made $100,000. They don't show you the thousands that don't work. Things like pulling that number out of who knows where to create fear for you to want to purchase their extra features. That's kind of tactic 2, right? They're making vague, unmeasured claims about things. 10 times more engagement. Okay, but how are we measuring engagement? Users report higher satisfaction. Okay, satisfaction with what? On what scale? Tactic 3 is the one I've been covering in most of this series, and that is conflating contexts. So, using statistics from situations that are not relevant to your situation as a small business owner. They're trying to get you to think if they can get results, I can too. Or their problem must be my problem. But things are more nuanced than that. And then of course, tactic 4, which is a classic sales tactic, creating fear and then selling the solution. Not only is that tactic kind of icky, but they're also creating fear through statistics that have no clear source and don't apply to this context. So they're kind of approaching it in 2 different ways, right? They're doing the stat, the feature, the upsell pipeline, and that's where they're scaring you with the industry statistics. They're positioning their features as the solution. So our analytics will show you where students stop watching, and our gamification increased completion rates by 10 times. Our community features boost engagement, right? Those are the kinds of things that you're hearing them say. And then they try to upsell you into higher tiers. Want those advanced statistics? Upgrade to Pro. Need unlimited students? You need our enterprise plan. When the reality is that features don't fix a bad course design. The second way that they kind of use these tactics to approach selling you something that you don't need is the bandwagon fallacy. So they say things like, 50 million course creators can't be wrong. Join thousands of successful entrepreneurs. The fastest growing platform in online education. That's a fallacy because just because it's popular doesn't mean it applies to your situation. Just because a lot of people like it or a lot of people have success doesn't mean that it fits your course, that it fits your clients, and it fits your teaching style. So, how to spot the BS statistics that comes from course platforms. So I've got a bunch of red flags for you. Red flag number 1 is they have not properly cited sources. So if they're going to throw statistics at you, they better be telling you where they came from, and you better be able to go find it. So if they say things like research shows, ask what research. If they say things like studies prove, ask what studies. If they say things like industry average, where are they getting the numbers from to create that average? Red flag number 2, values are a range instead of a specific number. So up to 90% completion, that up to, that's a suspicious phrase, right? Because it could be 10, it could be 5. 30% average, that is a huge gap. That's a huge range. Significantly higher. Okay, but higher than what? By how much? What's the measurement? Red flag number 3 is comparing apples to oranges. So if they're comparing platform data to independent research, or free courses to paid courses, or corporate training to creator courses, their success stories to your reality, right? These are all things where the contexts are too different to really be able to compare these situations. Red flag 4 is that most of their content or the things that they have on their website have that scare then save pattern, right? So this is the inflate the problem with scary statistics, position their features as the only solution, and then make you feel like you'll fail without them. If you're tired of platforms using fake statistics to upsell you, then join the CourseMaker membership, where we actually start with good course design to help you make more informed decisions about what you need in a course platform. No BS, no overpriced features, just solid learning experience design. The link is in the description. In this video, I talked a lot about completion rates because a lot of platforms use that as a way to upsell you to features that will improve them. In my next video, I'm going to talk about what completion rates are actually measuring. If it's not there, it'll be there next week.